I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking through.
Asphalt algorithms, a blueprint for hybrid success. I'm excited today because I have a wonderful guest who I met through and during when the world was shut down, but he didn't shut down, neither did I. And he's made progress, and I'm looking forward to sharing his mission. But before we get there, if you're watching us live, thank you for being here live today. And if you're catching us on a replay, remember, hashtag replay. Let us know where you're watching in from. If you have a question live today or in the future when you catch this, send us a message, send us a question, give us a hint of something that you would like to listen to. Happy to share. And speaking of share, remember to share this out, comment, and hey, why not join our YouTube channel? YouTube would like it, I'd like it, and you just never know who in your sphere of influence, by knowing about some of the guests that we're having on our show, the nuggets or lessons or gems they share could be something that could change somebody's life. Hey, you want to be part of that? Help us out. Help them out. And now I have a shameless plug. This is how I make this happen. So bear with me for about 45 seconds. If you want a gift just for being here and watching this show, like I said, live or the replay, go to coachphil.ca. In the top right-hand corner of the website, you'll see a button that says Business Growth Score. And the good thing is it is a gift, no credit card required. And if you're a successful entrepreneur and you just want to make sure you're on the right track, it'll be answer the assessment, see what makes sense to you. What does it tell you about your business? And if you take the assessment and you find that there is an area that you would like to have some help with and improvement with, complimentary 30-minute coaching call with myself. All you have to do is send us an email, let me know that you want to do that. We'll set up a time and have a conversation. Again, no credit card, no pressure, no 30 minutes of a chin waggle. I said that because in the green room it made Randy giggle. And who's Randy? He's the guest that I'm going to be bringing up here shortly. So let me get to that part of the show. So let me start. I really am excited about this. I did meet him during COVID. And, you turn lemons into lemonade, and that's what he's done. That's what I've done. And together we helped ourselves and a few other people do that as well. So basically, he's a legend waiting in the green room, someone who's been shaping the metal roofing, post frame, and metal building world for over 40 years. Yes, he is a well-seasoned veterinarian. Veterinarian? No! Veteran. And Randy Chaffee is not just a sales veteran. He's a brand builder, a connector, the owner of Source One Marketing, where he spent decades building relationships that don't just stick, they thrive. You probably know him as the host of Building Wins Live, and Let's Chat with Randy, where his energy, insight, and incredible guests light up the conversation. Oh, and didn't I mention? Of course I didn't. You didn't know yet because I just new to the show today. He wrote a playbook for today's hybrid sales world. It's called Asphalt to Algorithms, a road warrior's playbook for winning results in hybrid sales arena. He's the speaker, MC, podcast pro, and a force multiplier who mixes old school hustle with cutting edge digital tools to stay ahead of the game. Let's not make him wait any longer. I'm going to bring him up right now. And just before I do that, just imagine this, an impossible statement. Honestly, if enthusiasm was currency, you'll find that Randy would be in the world's first trillionaire and still have change to buy the internet. Let me find a button to bring him in. Here he is. Hey,
Hey, Coach, how are you?
I'm good, you hybrid road warrior.
Well, I just want to stand here and have you say the name of my book like 10 times in a row, really fast.
So help me out. What is the name of your book?
Now you're gonna put me on the spot, right? It's Asphalt and Algorithms.
There we
And
go.
and believe me, you complimented me in the green room about how well I said it. And we might tell the story, we may not later, but that was not the original title. And when my marketing people and editor and folks convinced me that I was not my choice of title was not the right one. I had to say this about 700 times to myself because I knew I was going to be saying it 1,000 times in my life. And not only can I say it now, but I can actually semi-spell it. Maybe a little cheating by spell check, but anyways, great to be on, my man. And I love the chin waggle. That I'm still giggling is not a word I use about myself, Phil, but I might have giggled over that one.
There you go. Cool. Anyway, it was a journey. You didn't just come up with an idea, say I'm going to write a book, and sat down over the weekend and had it done. There's a whole process to it. So before we jump into the process, let's go back to where we first met just for a wee little bit. I did kind of hint on that. The world was turned upside down and we didn't know what the heck to do and how to connect with people. We weren't allowed to go see people. And for people who are on the road or selling or providing services where they need to have conversations with individual, it was virtually impossible. So we virtually met on in a group with a bunch of other people, and we got together, and it was called Megamind. So you're one of the Megamind masters. That every Monday was, what was it? Monday was.
Yeah, we did Mondays. We started doing all these check-ins 2 or 3 times a week. We even got to together on Fridays virtually with a glass of Dr. Pepper, as I like to refer to it, but
Right.
little some red grapes in the liquid form. We just really got to know each other and chat and got everybody used to talking on video, right? Because that was before that. I think most of us talked a lot in public, but didn't talk a lot on video or live or whatever the case may be. So it was a good experience, and I got to meet you.
And reciprocal in that as well. I was trying to think of the word though. The beginning of it was. I know what Friday was. Bragging Friday, bragging.
Yeah. Oh, crush and brag. We had a crush and brag day.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So we were all there helping each other to ride out the wave or the fill in the potholes that were coming because of that.
Yes.
As a result of that, you and I have created a podcast, and we've been running them for quite a while. And my roof on my house, and even though we're in 2 different countries and you've never been to where I live, and you found one of the finest roofing companies I've come across, and took the stress and mess of trying to find a valuable, competent roofing company. And all you did was make 1 or 2 calls or emails, and next thing you know, my roof was being done. So,
well, the interesting is I listen to you say that. I remember that scenario. It is the power of networking, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, in today's world, we've always said it's a small world, right? It's what's smaller than it's micro small now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of all the things like this, because of all the virtual, because of all the networking opportunities. Like you said, it was I didn't do anything special with that. I really didn't. It was a matter of you had a need, and I didn't know anybody in the area, but I knew people that knew people that knew people. I don't know how many new peoples there were involved, probably 2 or 3 phone calls, and boom, it happened. I'm not saying that wouldn't have happened 20 years ago, but it would have took a lot more effort to have put that together.
Yeah.
Because 2 or 3 of the people in that little communication chain are not people I've ever met personally, but I've learned to know by reputation who they were, and so I mean the point of all that, besides I was just a great guy for doing that for you, right?
Absolutely.
Was that the networking advantages that we have today are more than we've ever had, and they're growing by the day, right? It's anybody that doesn't take advantage of the networking opportunities are I'm just going to be brutally honest and just flat out they're missing the boat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the things you do, and you demonstrated with that, my roof story, is that you worked your net. You didn't just just many people go to a networking event and have fun because they can be a lot of fun. It's like a party for entrepreneurs and salespeople. However, there's work to be done. That's why it's called networking.
Yes.
And networking is to build relationships and take time to get to know how people are. Bob Berg, the author of many books on the value or the power of networking, he always suggests lead with value. Right? How can I know who's a good referral partner for you? What can I pay attention to what people are saying and give them content and information and help to support them. Not because you're manipulating them, because you really care. One of your presidents, I think it was Roosevelt, and it's on a card I have. I'm picking it up. I don't need to see it, but I'm going to share it with everybody if I can see it. Forget the adaptability for a moment. It says, no one cares about you until they know how much you care about them. And that's you.
Well, I think it's important, and I love that statement, and I'm glad you shared that, because it all has to lead. Too many of us, either by training or just by nature, I suppose, it's the first thing into a networking event. And you hit on a minute ago, Phil. What am I going to get out of this? And if we go into it as what am I going to give?
Yeah.
And if it's that old theory, and we've all talked about it a million times, but if you give without expectation, you always somehow or another will get back way more than you ever gave. And it may not always be at that event
or by that person.
By that person. It's just, but that person goes, you know what? I there's nothing I can ever do with Phil, but I can send this guy and this gal and this guy and this gal to Phil, or somebody that Phil may know. They connect those dots, and it may not ever affect you individually by that meeting, but it all comes back to you. So yeah, I'm a big believer in that. And besides that, like I said, it's just fun. I mean, it's fun to hang with not only like-minded people, but I've found with networking events, some of the most valuable networking events that I attend are out of my industry, because I think it goes without saying that networking within the industry, there's maybe more direct, quicker return on investment, right? With that networking time. But we all have groupthink. Regardless of the industry, we have some certain amount of groupthink. We say certain things, we think certain ways, and you can easily get by osmosis drug into. I'm a writer. I guess I better use proper English, right? But why bother now? Never have. So you won't get proper English in my book either. So you get Randy. But I think that when you step out of that box into areas that you're not familiar with, you get a whole different perspective on business, on life, on whatever the subject matter is. And I've learned more at talking with people. You talked about the Megamind group, Phil. Nobody in that group does what I do in my industry. Right. But I learned more probably from that group of people over the last 4 or 5 years than any group I've ever been involved with, because we got away from the group thing, and that was vitally important. So yeah, I can't. Circling back to what you said, man, never miss an opportunity. Never miss. I'll take any opportunity there is to talk to anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, what I like about that is it's like the ripple in the pond. Throw a pebble in the pond, you get a ripple, and you never know where the ripple goes.
Exactly.
If you don't get activated or interact with people in life, then what's going to happen? I think Brian Tracy, well, I don't think I know. He says if you don't do things like we're talking about, you're settling for mediocrity, which is it's a part of our makeup as a population of human beings. We have this thing called self-concept, and that's how we see ourselves. So if we step out of how we see ourselves and into something that's uncomfortable, we've got this piece of the mind that's called a creative subconscious mind. Its job is to keep us in our isness, into our self-concept, who we see ourselves to be, our comfort zone, our dead zone, call it what you want. It's a safe thing, so we stay safe from the saber-toothed tiger. Guess what, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen? There aren't any more of those tigers to be worried about. So.
Truth. Good point. And that is, you're so right. The comfort zone, we all strive to be comfortable. I mean, comfortable is comfortable, right? Yeah. But at the same time, it's been said a million times. You don't grow in the comfort zone, right?
No.
You at all. You just maintain at best. And probably if you never got out of the comfort zone, not only I think you stop maintaining, you probably start going backwards a little
Yeah.
bit
Yeah.
because the world's moving on and you're not moving with it.
Yeah. Either growing or dying.
Exactly.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The old saying, if you're on a railroad tracks and you don't keep moving, sooner or later you're gonna run over, right? I mean, at some point you just got to move.
I'm getting messages in here from people I think that know you, buddy. I'm going to bring this person up. Do you know them?
Nova Mateo. That name sounds familiar. I'm not sure that I know for sure, but hi Nova, how are you?
Cool. There's so many ways we could go in terms of this conversation, but one of the things I like is that you branded yourself as a road warrior. Can you tell people what a road warrior is for the uninitiated?
Oh, sure. So road warrior is an old school phrase, kind of, at least in my vernacular now. It's a guy or gal that spends their life pounding the road, highway, windshield time, airplanes, rental cars, different hotels every night, all over the country. In my case, building relationships to build business. And there's a key to what I just said there, Phil. Build a relationship to build business. One customer, friend, or client at a time. It's a long, arduous road, but it's what I did, and I've logged well over 1 million miles of driving in my 4+ decades. I don't know how many hotels. It's a stupid amount, flights, and so that's what really being a road warrior is. And I've rebranded that just a little bit in the last few years well, I have it on my name there, the hybrid road warrior Randy, because I used to always consider myself a road warrior Randy.
Right.
But now, and that's a lot of what I talk about in the book, and a lot of other things that I do is I've hybrided. Oh, that's a word. I'm going to use it. Hybrided that. I use a lot of words. I don't know what they mean, but they sound good. But I hybrided this concept for myself, and that's what I'm starting to talk about more on events like this and with the book, is using all the new technologies that we have to still do the old way, which still works. The old relationships still matter. It's just that how do we develop a force multiplier effect by using all the tools that we have, the virtual and the social media, all the digital stuff that we have it really creates visibility equals opportunities, and the more visible we are, the more opportunities we have, right? And so the road warrior is really just a fancy-ish way of saying a pound the road sales rep, salesperson. That's what I refer to as a road warrior. And now in today's world, I just hybrided that to still love the road. I'm next week this week I'm in a more of an office week, so a lot more virtual. Next week's going to be a combination, a lot of road, a lot of customers, customer lunches, customer dinners, visit job sites, doing all those things that I love to do, that I built my life, my career on. But in and out of that will be a quick video from my car, a quick testimonial video from a customer, several posts for the day, do a couple of YouTube shorts. So it's a matter of in and out, in and out, in and out all day long. So that's kind of the road warrior / hybrid road warrior mentality.
And I think you added the hybrid at the same time where the world was turned upside down, and you were kind of a leader in the hybrid side of sales, being a road warrior.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm glad you brought that up, because really what I saw happen, we've established, I was this old school guy, right? I was as old school as you get. Coffee and donuts in the morning, pizza pie lunches with pop and pizza at lunch, maybe a burger and a brewski with a customer or a group in the evening. Do it again, do it again, do it again. But then when the COVID world hit and we all got locked down, during that progression through that, there's two schools of thought. There was the old school guys like myself that didn't adapt. We're not going to adapt. I don't care what you tell me, I'm not going to adapt. I'm just going to ride this out and go back to the old way. Nothing wrong with the old way, but I also found there's a lot of new ways that you can make your world more efficient, make your world better using all these new technologies. Now, fast forward from that, Phil, and there was this other school of thought, which was I'm never going to go see a customer again. I'm never going to get out of my pajama bottoms. I'll throw a polo shirt on and my shorts and sit in front of a screen, and I'll never go see a customer again. I called BS to that really quickly because I think, especially in my world, in my industry, is very people to people. I still think most industries technically still are. There's still a buyer and a seller that need to be together, that needs to build a relationship. So I called BS to both sides as the only way. And that's where the hybrid came into play, is how can I, for myself, is the way it started, combine all the old school stuff that I'm really good at, that I really enjoy, but also combine that with all the force multiplying, use that word again, effect that digital and virtual has to really speed up the process, if you will, and to be with customers when I'm not there and all those things. So that's where the hybrid came into play, is taking the old and the new and saying BS to both being the only way. And there's got to be that third better way.
What I like about that idea is it's a really good live example from an old dog willing to learn new tricks and living with a constant and never-ending improvement mindset. So thank you for sharing that and giving not just a claim, but evidence that you're doing that, living it, and people can buy your book and find out more about that, I'm sure, right?
Absolutely. I might mention that a little bit in there, yes.
I'm just looking at, which I'll share here shortly, but it says, Randy Chaffee is the real deal, a road warrior turned hybrid pioneer who's not afraid to evolve, adapt, and tell the truth about the bumps and the wins along the way. That's pretty awesome to get that. But people don't give you that if it's made up.
No.
That's not AI. That's Denise.
Yes, Denise is world class. I love Denise. Great friend and incredible podcast host, incredible website designer, incredible lover of cats, which I don't have, but I like cats. But yes, those getting those kind of the amount of endorsement or praise for the book, is I guess the technical term, was humbling, Phil, because people got what I was doing, and that gave me a lot of fire to really want to promote this book and to really want to get it in front of people, because there's a point in time where the things that I write about in the book and that I practice, and you hit on, I practice every day. I'm not someday I will be. So I'm going to go this way and backwards. Someday I will be that guy that will be hopefully out talking about this and some other books that I'm working on, and I'll be regurgitating stuff that I used to do, right? And you can make a whole career on that. I understand that, and it's still valuable. Right now, what I'm really enjoying, and I'm happy that people are understanding my desire to do, and is I'm living this every day. It's not like I'm just going to do 14 podcasts today and that's all I'm going to do. When we get done with this podcast live, I'll be right back to old school stuff for a while. Doing some emails, calling customers on that really silly thing called the phone, right? Making sure samples got to a guy. Hey, did you get the samples? Can I stop in next week? The stuff we do, right? And then this afternoon, I'm going to record 2 podcasts for my Building Wins Live podcast. Then I'll be right back to doing the old stuff again. So it's right now, I think, I hope that a little bit of credibility that I bring to my mission is that that I'm a boots on the ground, blue collar, doing whatever I'm talking about. Everything you read about in my book is stuff that I'm doing every single day. Not that I learned 24 years ago and still talking about it. I'll be that guy someday. So I'm not like knocking that. There's a lot of value to that. But that's really the message right now, I think, Phil. And it's been a fun ride. So thank you for sharing that, Denise's. It's good stuff.
Yeah, no worries. Speaking of sharing,
Mhm.
I buy from Randy on LinkedIn. That's where you can go and find Randy. Oh, to make that a lot easier for people to see, I will put the URL for that right below it. Just hang on.
Perfect. Appreciate that.
I buy from Randy. Look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the wrong one. That's coming up next. That's a teaser ad. There we go. Right. So LinkedIn.com in Randy Chaffee. Go look for him. He's there. If you want to find out more about him, connect with him, message him, visit his website, which I will put up properly. Now, this is where we're going next, Randy. We're going right there.
There we go. Look at that. Handshakes. Imagine that.
So you can learn more about there. You can see where this is his homepage, is about him, his products, resources, his Building Wins podcast, and you could connect with him here as well. Look at all this.
And before too long, since we're right there, it's not on there yet. It's actually, I'm finishing that this week. The book right now is available, and we'll talk about that probably later, but on Amazon, ebook, soft, and hardcover. The soft and hardcover will be available if somebody is so silly as to like to buy bundles for their sales team, which I've had a few people do already, which is kind of cool. I mean, I've been live with this on Amazon for a week, but there'll be bundle opportunities on my website, ibuyfromrandy.com. And if you want again, if you're silly enough who would like a signed copy, anything that's bought from my website that I ship out myself will be signed, which will take the $16.99 or $24.99 book to a value of $0 if I sign it. But hey, whatever. If that's what you'd like, I'll have it. That's the way you're getting it. So I suppose you could go on my website and say, I'd love to buy your book from your website, but please don't destroy it by signing it. I suppose I could do that. But
or sign it double and put my name on it and all that stuff. Right?
Exactly. So, but yeah, so. But that's they won't find that on the website till about next week. I was letting Amazon do its thing for a little while first. But yeah, there we are. I appreciate that. It's the funny story since you popped it up. The ibuyfromrandy.com. You can also go to source1marketingllc.com, and they all report to the same area, or .net, I think, or something. But years and years ago, as I decided that building a personal brand, because I sell stuff, right? I sell products, I sell components into the metal roofing and post frame building industry. I mean, I can tell the dog and pony as well as anybody. I've been doing this for 4+ decades, but the key still is you got to sell yourself. That's the product. And I really, years ago, before I even knew what brand ambassador meant, really, I found myself thinking I needed to be a brand ambassador for the brand of Randy. And so that was one of the first things that we did. Is I said, I need a website that's more brand ambassadorship. And I don't even think I used that term, but it was funny is all of a sudden it clicked in my head. When I tell customers, well, where do I go to get more information? Well, I buy from Randy.com, because what else do you need to know? Right. And one of the mantras that we use on several of them and some banners that I have is, I just think I do stuff that's funny to me sometimes, because you're going to get with me what you get. Is that if we ain't got it, you don't need it. And that's not totally true. Obviously, there's stuff I don't have, but I found it funny one time with a customer, and I believe it, if I remember right, I've done it several times, but it was years ago, and it was a customer from the Plain community, the Amish community, I believe, if I remember correctly. And they asked if I had this item, and I says, well, you don't need it. I was in one of my strange modes that I can be in at times. When you're by yourself on the road a lot, you get a little goofy, and that carries over into everyday life. They said, well, what do you mean I don't need it? I said, you don't need it. And they looked at me like quizzically, like, I think I need it, Randy. I don't understand why you tell me. Why do you think I don't need it? I said, it's because I ain't got it. And they laughed, I laughed, and all of a sudden I go, I love that, because it's you there's a lot of noise out there, right? And if you want to elevate what you're doing above that noise, it's little things like that that elevates that up. It's just quirky enough. It's just, surely everybody knows I don't have everything you need, but the fact that I say it and I can say it seriously, gets a chuckle from a guy here or there, a gal here and there. So, always my point to all that is, don't be afraid to be yourself. Don't be afraid to be unique. Don't be afraid to bring your own brand to the mission, right? And because the one thing I figured out a long time ago, I did a little video on this one day, and somebody, I think my wife might have been, said, what are you doing? That's just stupid. But I started out, I says, hi, my name is Randy, if you don't know me, and I am number one out of 8.5 billion people on planet Earth. I am the best. That being me. But there's a point to that, right, Phil? That nobody does Phil better. I can watch what you do, and I can try to copy some of the traits. I can but I can't ever be Phil. So trying to transform myself into following you because of your success, I'm going to fail at it miserably, right? And you would fail at being me. Not that you'd ever want to be, because it looks way funner than it is.
I don't know. You have a book, so that's pretty cool. And I know it wasn't just a whim, because back in the lockdown, you were talking about doing one back then and kind of thinking about it and talking about it. And now here's one of them. So that's great to say. I was going to wrap up the show by asking, well, what's one gem? But I think you gave us like 3 or 4. And what stood out for me, what I got out of that, here's the answer to my question for me interpreting what you just said.
Okay.
Be yourself, be memorable, and don't take yourself too serious, and have fun with it.
I couldn't have said it better.
I didn't think so. Well, you did. I took your words.
Well, I know, but you paraphrased it very well. Nicely done. No, I think that's spot on. I got nothing to add to that. That's perfect. And if you do that every day, and the only tiny tidbit I'll add to that is, don't be afraid, because I know you have to get past the fear of putting yourself out there, the fear of, well, what are people going to think? At some point, you got to step through that and say, you know what? I'm pretty happy with, in my case, I'm pretty happy with the brand of Randy. I don't mean that cocky. I don't mean that egotistical. I'm just happy with what I do. And I believe in what I do. So don't be fearful to be that. Be what you are. Be who you are. Tell people what you are. And, you know what? You'll have your detractors. That's okay. I got 2 words to them. Goodbye.
Yeah.
I mean,
exactly.
Right. So good stuff, man. Great stuff.
It was a pleasure having you on here as always. I'm excited to see that you have a book, and I wish you much success in getting it out there to help other wannabe hybrid warriors, or just be a warrior, road or not. And
exactly.
Share your message. I think that's fantastic. Again, thank you for being on the show today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me on, my friend. Keep doing what you do, because you're the best.
Thanks. Appreciate that. Okay, so I don't have much to say to wrap it up, except for you heard what we talked about itself. Be yourself. Step into what you're fearful of. And always remember this. It's right here. Oh, I did it again. You is big and wonderful because it represents you. You're unique, and you, just like Randy said, he's the best at being him. Nobody else can be Randy. Only he can be him. So only you can be you. So until next time, be your continued wonderful self. Share this out, comment, and if you know of somebody that would be a suitable guest that has a message, they don't have to have a book out, but if they have, that's cool. Make an introduction. We'll see where we can go with it, and maybe they'll be on the show because you introduced them to us. Until next time, I'm your host, Coach Phil.
I get shit done, I have fun. It's my time and I'm the one. I'm breaking